It's day 2 of the shutdown. Society has collapsed. We're barely able to broadcast in our studio. It's candle lights and emergency lighting. 3 generators are running without the 13% of our government operating that has had to shut down. Everything's fallen apart. Dogs are sleeping with cats. It's complete chaos. I don't know how we're going to make it. I haven't eaten in moments. Literal moments. There's no hope in sight. Charlie, what's the report from your end?
Darkness. Complete darkness.
It's not even cutting to you. It's so dark. It's not a laughing matter. It's all about survival, Charlie. How will we survive without the federal government?
I'm fine.
All right, well, let's just do the show then. All right, welcome to Logan to Talk. I am Frank, the third most popular candidate to ever be your congressman. We're out of the darkness. The backup generators has kicked on. We have survived. Along with me, of course, in survival is...
What's up, planet Earth? I'm Bean.
Bean. All right. We'll talk about the end of the world that is the government shutdown in a little bit, but... as you may recall, the last couple of episodes, we've talked a little bit about how, like, politicians and the media probably need to be less hyperbolic, stop comparing, like, everybody to, like, Hitler and stuff like that, because it's kind of having bad results. Well, you know, people have their own ways of doing things. This is just Joy Reid. She, I think, used to have a show. Maybe she still has a show. It was on CNN or MSNBC or something like that. So no one actually saw it. You know, we have comparable ratings. All right. Joy's on the left here. All right. Oh, wait. Go back, you son of a bitch. All right.
There we go.
All right.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things. Is that if you go back before the...
Well, I'll cut a little bit. She was talking about the fascism and how that is what the fascist right is trying to bring us to, is no taxes and no regulation. And, you know, all that.
Did I confuse the definition of fascism?
Yeah, it means total independence from the government.
Huh.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I like what Joy Reid's selling. I know it's, I guess, fascism now, but if that's what fascism is, then I officially endorse it. I didn't like it when it was a big central government, kind of like communism or socialism. That one didn't work for me, or arguably like our current republic. Pretty strong central government. Then I wasn't on board. But now, if it's a weak federal government, no taxes, low regulation, sounds pretty nice. All right, that was just some silliness because get out of here. Get out of here. Because Joy Reid's an idiot. But she's a fun idiot because, I don't know. I like it when people are both dumb and bold. Because, you know, you just come out swinging. And people go, hey, do you got any facts to back that up? And they go, hey, you shut your mouth. That's it. You just charge right through these needs of accuracy and reading, you know? So she's one of those. She's one of the good ones. All right. So, all right, whatever. We'll just hop into it. All right. So the government shutdown. A while ago, the Republican-controlled House passed a continuing resolution for, I forget how many days. Not that many, but too many. which, to be clear, means continuing the budget set under Joe Biden and the Democrat-controlled House and Senate. So the Republicans are like, hey, we'll just, no cuts. Don't even worry about Doge. Let's just keep spending at the Biden era levels. We're all comfortable with it. So the Republicans, and except for Thomas Massey, and so they passed it, right? So it goes to the Senate. In the Senate, they need 7 Democrats to vote to also continue at the levels that they passed when they were in charge. And they said, we don't want to. We need an extra $1.5 trillion. Trillion dollars on top of what is already a massively overspent government. Like we need to be below 4 trillion. I didn't look it up again, but like I think during COVID we spiked up to like 6 or 7 trillion. We brought in 3.75 or something like that in like tax dollars. So not good. And then it dropped a little bit post COVID, but still to like 4.5 or 5 or something like that, where you go, well, that's bad. That's bad. And they go, well, it might be bad, but we could spend more. And that might be more good than bad. So anyway, they did not vote yes on the continuing resolution to continue the Joe Biden Democrat budget. They instead said, well, it's a government shutdown and the Republicans have caused it. There's a little bit of info here. Let's see. The Blaze article. Put it in a funny way. Yeah. So the Republican-led continuing resolution, the same clean CR Democrats voted for to keep the government open over a dozen times prior, and this only adds slightly more spending for security for all the people after the shootings and all this stuff. So it's dozens of times this has been approved already. This horrendous budget, they've already voted to approve it countless times. But this time, it is just intolerant. Now, one of the things that they talk about is, I guess, there are subsidies in the Affordable Care Act for insurance, because, of course, we can't just have a private market, because we can't. So,
Good reason.
Yeah, you can't be trusted. Companies want to make profit, Charlie. And you know what stops companies from making profit? Colluding with the government. Because that way you can't possibly have regulators getting lucrative salaries in the private industry after they pass favorable legislation or regulation for that company. Cleans it all up. So anyway, Affordable Care Act, we got rid of the problem with profits and insurance. And now insurance always pays out and it's never a problem for anybody. Just ask the United Healthcare guy. He knows. He knows. Luigi knows. So we solved that problem. So I guess the subsidies are going to expire at the end of the year. I guess the Democrats want them not to expire. And then another trillions and trillions of dollars. And I don't even know what. It doesn't matter. So they're busy right now instead of trying to do the right thing for the country and the citizens. The elected Democrats are saying the Republicans have shut down the government because they don't want American citizens to have health care, which once again should not be, the government shouldn't affect that. And then the Republicans are busy saying that the Democrats shut down the government because they want illegal aliens to have health care. And, well, I guess we'll get into that. The Democrats deny this, of course, but Republicans have really been pushing this. So the president has been communicating some of these things. He has some views. Let me hop to where's old D Trump. So this is something that old Donnie posted from his personal account. This is the president of the United States Post from his personal account. It's a AI video. So this is a warning for anybody listening or viewing. It might be confused. This is AI. The words and the images have been altered. Okay, so don't be fooled by this. All right, but anyway, President of the United States posted this.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
So, President of the United States. Now, as you can imagine, that is Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader. Not because he's a minority, but because they don't have a majority in the House, Charlie. Get it together. Get it together, Charlie.
Double meeting.
You're all hopped up on your Yom Kippur Manischewitz, I can tell. Gefilte fish. Those are all the words I know.
Well done.
Thank you.
BB would approve.
Okay, well, we might get to him a little later. So, Donald Trump did hear that Hakeem Jeffries was unhappy with what he did because it was racist. So then this is currently pinned to the top of Donald Trump's Twitter account, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's pinned to the top of Truth Social and everything else. Once again, there are parts of this that didn't happen in the real world, okay? It's being disclosed. We can't get in trouble for this. AI was involved in this. It has been edited. It'll be hard to tell when. I'll point it out when it happens. It might be hard to catch. So here's Hakeem with, is that Lester Holt? I forget. Is that Lester Holt or is Lester Holt black? I don't know.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault. It's a disgusting...
So anybody just listening, 4 Donald Trumps popped up behind Hakeem Jeffries playing brass instruments as his sombrero and mustache reappeared. So they're taking the criticism seriously.
Donald's quite talented.
Oh no, what did I just do? I did everything wrong. Misclicks. I'm gonna probably edit that out, I think. Let me see my top secret information I keep on my desktop.
It's because of the government shutdown.
It was the government shutdown. It shut down my displays. God, open the government back up. We're dying here. All right, so yeah, that's President Donald Trump is taking the criticism seriously and really leaning into the healthcare for illegal aliens thing.
I didn't realize he was so musically talented.
You know, I didn't realize he had 3 twin brothers. Donald, Ronald, Dino, and I don't know, Duck. I ran out of names.
Duck Trump.
Duck Trump. Yeah. Tricky Dicky Trumpy. All right. So, where do I want to start? I didn't do that one. All right. So Democrats have been doing their rounds, right? And they vehemently deny that any health insurance, federally funded health insurance, is going to illegal aliens. They say that's just not happening. It's a lie, fake news. And Gavin Newsom did it while calling J.D. Vance dipshit. Because the current thing right now is working in swears. All people have to show how tough they are by working in the swears. JD did it to that one guy that one time. Gavin's been doing it constantly. Have we talked about this? He's capturing Donald Trump's voice on his Twitter account. Have we talked about this?
Mm-mm.
So, all right, a little inside baseball, right? Somebody that's a politician or famous for the most part. I mean, some people run their own stuff, but most people have assistants. If you're an elected official, you rarely do your own posting. You have someone that does that. And you try to find someone who's able to capture your voice, they call it. So when they type something and they post it, maybe you type something, sometimes you post it and someone goes, "Did you do this one?" You go, "I don't know. It sounds like something I'd say. I can't say I wouldn't do that." So that's how it always works. You know, you get somebody and you might go, "Hey, post something about how I hate taxes," you know? They go, "Okay, how about something like this?" Good. So typically you want it to just be you, you know, it's your voice. But Gavin Newsom has been just, he started that podcast where he's trying to like invite people. I think Charlie Kirk was on it. I think he was like the first guest actually, but he was bringing people from the other side to have a conversation and do that whole thing. Like, people are desperate to, you know, reach across the aisle, have a conversation, common sense conversation. So he was doing that. He was like, suddenly I'm Gavin Newsom, the nice, reasonable guy. I'm the reasonable. Yeah, I'm a Democrat, of course, but I'm reasonable. I can represent everybody. I can have a conversation. And I don't think anybody cared about that. Maybe it's still on this podcast. I'm not sure. I think probably not, but maybe, who knows? But on Twitter, he's going for "I am Donald Trump." So he basically has somebody channeling his thoughts in Trump's voice. So everything, there's stuff in all caps. "Thank you for your attention to this matter." Profanity, name calling, bluster, like the whole thing. And he's just like, you know what? Maybe I can be the Trump on the left, you know, do, you know, kind of bullying, kind of schoolyard, just name calling, but for the Democrats. And so that's what he's been doing on Twitter. Watch, I mean, now that I say it, go to his account sometime, check out some of his posts. You'll see it. And you go, "Oh, there it is." And, but yeah, everybody has to cuss. What's it? Hegseth doing his stupid I need to ask how some brass took that, because, you know, some of it, I'm sure, I imagine most of them thought this could have been an email, you know? But yeah, when he stands up there, "To our enemies," looking at the camera, FAFO. If you need help, you can ask some of the enlisted guys what that means. It's just like,
It doesn't help that he's always wearing a 3-piece suit too. Like, dude, like that, you're not hip.
I do like a nice 3-piece suit.
No, but I'm just saying, like, in general, saying that, man, I had to leave the room when I or put my phone down. I was just like, ugh.
It was tough. Yeah, like the first time as the kids say, cringe. It's cringe, and it's a tough one to come back from. It's he was real proud of it. You could tell, and that was part of what was so bad about it. Was like he felt good about it, and he got some cheers, some kind of ooh-ah type stuff around that part, which is good, fine, you know. And most of them sat respectfully, as you're supposed to do when you're like a general or an admiral there for a meeting among all your peers, which never happens with a Secretary of Defense cabinet position, you know.
War.
Sorry. Correct. Secretary of War. I do like it.
You're going to get a call.
Yeah. Hey, I got it right when I made old Salty Jimmy a birthday cup. I put DOW on it. It's nice. A double dipping DOW dollars. Because that bastard went back to work. It's nice picking our pockets twice. Anyway. But I don't know. I think I'm sure some of them are happy about the ideas of combat readiness. You know, go, "Oh, good. We'll have an emphasis on combat readiness." That's good. I like that. I don't think any of them. Imagine being a 60-something-year-old admiral, general, whatever, 50s, 60s, whatever, and let's even just say that you've kept in shape, but you know you're 60 or whatever, and suddenly the dude from Fox, and I saw his picture swimming. He's in great shape, you know, all that kind of stuff. Good for you. But the dude from Fox, who, yes, he served, I get it. comes in and says, "Hey, good news! You have to get your get tested to make sure you're physically fit, whatever it is, once a year, once every how many years." And you go, "It's like, son, I have put in 30 or 40 years. I've passed those left and right, and I am an admiral or a general or a colonel or whatever. And in a few years, there's a strong chance you will not be Secretary of Defense, and there's a strong chance that, these stars remain. And this, you want me to run laps so you can time me?"
I mean, hopefully they would adjust it accordingly based on the person.
I mean, I would think so. You're never going to have because this is all about combat readiness, You don't send the admiral in to charge. In fact, the whole Navy barely, it should all be sprints. They shouldn't have any distance running. I mean, I guess maybe the distance of an aircraft carrier, you get end to end, but it's kind of silly. Even in the Navy, you're not supposed to go in the water even. There's people in the Navy that can't swim because if you go in the water in the Navy, odds are you've already lost. It's not good. You have fallen a long way, or you've popped out of a submarine, and that's even worse. But yeah, I guess they would adjust it. They probably will. Maybe. And don't get me wrong. Don't be fat. I think that's fair. If you're a fat general, there's a certain amount of overweight one can become that you can only get there by cutting corners on physical exertion, and not just not hitting the gym, but maybe trying not to get out of your chair too much. Maybe you get a grabber, maybe whatever. You circle the parking lot for 3 hours to find a close spot, as opposed to just parking in the back and walking. Just opportunistic exercise, or just any you cut enough corners and you replace it with donuts and just sugar, lots of sugar. So those people probably shouldn't be high ranking in our military, because if you're too lazy to just stay modestly overweight, just you be overweight. Just there's a certain level where it's too far, and so I get that. That's fine. Keep them in shape, but I don't know. I do wonder how that part went over, but that might have been gone over well for morale with the enlisted guys or in the young officers and stuff. It might be something like, all right, about time, because I know it can be frustrating when someone's barking at you about your fitness, and you look at them and you go, "If I jog backwards, you will never catch me." So anyway, so it might be good for me. Back to it. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted with the cussing and all that. But everyone's denying illegal alien health care. So on Fox, this is a fellow named Rokana. He's all right. He's a Democrat. I disagree with him on many policies. But he tends to be somebody that will talk about, he'll just talk honestly about his thoughts on things, which it's such a low bar we're at right now. But that's it. He'll talk about it, and you'll say your thoughts on the matter, or whoever he's talking to will say well, I disagree and I think da 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 da, and he won't go, "Well, you're a fascist." He goes, "Well, but when you think about dee-doo-ee-bee-dee-bee-dee," he's got a different perspective than, definitely than a libertarian or anything. But he strikes me as an honest broker who actually cares. So I think that's good. Anyway, so he's asked about it, on Fox Business, and he kind of, here, we'll let him talk. Did I switch it? I didn't switch it.
In terms of health care, the reality is they're just not being honest. The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion of the Medicaid cuts or the Affordable Care Act, if at all. And so we can argue that point, but the reality that even the vice president would acknowledge, that anyone who looks at the numbers will acknowledge, is 90 to 95% of the funding we're talking about is talking about funding for American citizens.
Okay. So what did he just say there, Charlie?
That there is funding going towards illegal aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He said
it's not a lot, but
yeah, he said most of it citizens. Some undocumented. And you go, okay. So like I said, this guy's like an honest broker, and so he's calling it balls and strikes. He goes, look, we should pass it. Most of it's for Americans. This will be good for Americans. 5-10%, yeah, there's stuff that goes undocumented. And he's like, I got no problem with that because most of it's going to the Americans and we should focus on that. Disagree, but it's honest. Well, and then we have accidental. Jake Tapper is such a weird guy. He's, sometimes he's like a top flight journalist and he asks people questions. And then he doesn't let them escape. He goes, actually, follow-up question. Well, I did bring some stats. Sometimes he's like a journalist. And then sometimes he's just like, well, you're full of hate. And actually, you're a Nazi. Going now to you. And like, I don't know why. I think maybe sometimes he goes, this is a serious story. I should take it seriously and put my journalism hat on. And maybe other times he's like, I'm just on TV. These are all clowns, and I don't care. F you. And if that is the case, I guess I would understand. If I was on TV, like, is he on every day?
I have no idea.
No one knows. No one knows. You have to watch CNN to know. No one knows. Go to the airport. If you travel every day to the airport, you might know. Outside of that,
I won't put myself through it to figure it out either.
You ever try to turn on like cable news? And
I can't even watch Fox Business.
Fox Business is tough. My dad loves what's his name, Varney, Jim Varney, the British guy, and he's a pretty funny fellow. But like all the just lights and flashing stuff and the tickers and the whatever. And so like when I go to visit him, he'll have it on. Like, oh no, watch this guy, and he's got his nice dry British wit about him, which is funny. But yeah, like it's all just horrible, and it's people watch Fox, not as many as they used to, but CNN and MS Now, I'm wondering when that's happening. But anyway, no one watches that stuff. But anyway, so Jake Tapper, here's him kind of doing some journalism by accident or on purpose. Who knows? I mean, if I was on TV all the time, at some point I would just be calling people turds and stuff. Like, I'll do journalism tomorrow to them name calling.
Donald Trump blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, Subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of health care subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants.
That's what he's saying.
I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie, but what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera,
You read it.
but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that.
Anyway, he never answers. Nothing with any substance. But even Jake Tapper is just like, well, I mean, couldn't you just not put that in? Just maybe not for right now? Maybe do it later? But like, it's a lie. He goes, well, yeah, it's a lie, but the lie about illegal aliens getting health care covered by federal dollars does result in illegal aliens getting their health care covered by federal dollars. In lie. Most of it, though, is there is a lot of money, maybe not a lot, but there is money that goes towards asylum seekers and people waiting on their visas or their whatever the hell is, so people who are, like you said, who are documented, they're in the system, they're going through the paperwork and all that kind of stuff, and it's in process. And so there is money for them for healthcare in this thing too. So it is federal funding for healthcare of non-citizens who are legally present. And I don't even like federal funding for healthcare of citizens. We have to, there's so many changes we would have to make before I'd be okay with that, You hear people, even if you listen to Joe Rogan, he'll be like, I believe in, safety nets, and we should pay for education. We should pay for healthcare. And don't get me wrong, disagree. For a number of reasons, the cost for everything is going to go crazy high once the government starts paying for it. Anyway, there's a number. We don't have to break down all the reasons I disagree, but let's just say, you poll society and the country as a whole, 90% agrees. Why don't we do government health care? And why don't we do government education? Okay. We need to make some cuts. We need to cut a lot of the other stuff we do. Get rid of so much. You got to get rid of trillions of dollars. Get rid of trillions of dollars in spending, and I have fewer complaints, college and school is free for everybody. I guess public schools technically already, but, college is free too. And you go, it's not going to be good. But you go, okay, fine. College is free. You go, and your doctor visits and your healthcare are always free. Once again, it's not going to be very good. You have a 2-tier system. You have the free version, but also you can pay more and go to the good people. Whatever. Okay. If we're not invading a country every other year, if we're not paying other countries to bomb or invade or whatever it is they do, suddenly, there's lots of things we take off the board. I go, all right, just whatever. Old people and poor people and whatever people are, all the people, they get the health care and they get the college. Okay, fine. But there's just so many steps to get there. Well, it's like in my heart of hearts, Charlie, I do think that countries, I wasn't saying a word there, YouTube, countries, although you can have your established borders and an enforcement kind of thing, I do think that the free flow of goods and labor across all borders without restriction is the way that we all get the cheapest prices and the most options for goods. That's how it's best for the entire world if labor and goods free flow without tariffs, without restriction, right? That being said, we have to get rid of the safety net system, or at least heavily modify it, but probably get rid of it. You can't have the welfare system that we have and then also have just total free flow of people. You can't have this sort of weird lack of prosecution of immigrant crime things. You can't have the violent criminals being released thing that we're doing for some reason. There's a lot of things that have to be cleaned up before you can do that. Most legal and most illegal immigrants are just normal people that want a nice life. And they have found that in their home country, not so nice. America is much nicer. They're willing to sleep 18 people in an apartment. It's still nicer than where they came from. And that's how much they love being here, However, then there's the criminals. Then there's, and some of them are murderers and the word I'm not supposed, the assailants of one's virtue. And these are the people that we can't let them back out on the streets. You can't arrest them and let them back out. Arrest them, throw them out, arrest them, convict them, whatever. But we have so many steps to get to, because if we just go straight to like the open border, I mean, we kind of saw what the open borders did, you know? And you can even patrol still for drugs and guns, I guess. But even then, like, we fall into, if you get rid of the black market for drugs, you probably get rid of the cartels, or at least they become sort of normal corporatist type people. And really, we should legalize all the drugs anyway. It solves that problem. But anyway, that's libertarian rabbit hole falling down.
It's a great rabbit hole.
Thank you. So anyway, ends up the government shutdown is because of wanting to spend an extra $1.5 trillion on top of the way too much money we're already spending. And some of it happens to go towards giving illegals health insurance or health care, whatever, on our federal dime. And that's where we're at now. Actually, we'll go. Let me see. Where are we? Oh, yeah. We'll go to. There's a lot of today is Trump's Twitter, it seems. That's just kind of an accident, but his Twitter game has always been strong, and Truth Social. This is a truth. He posted a truth. But, I mean, the man can tickle the ivory keys, you know?
It's definitely stepped up recently.
Yes, definitely stepped up. This one is, it's got a little doozy in there. It's not as like on the nose, but it's got a nice, it's got a little thing here. I gotta lubricate the pipes. Don't get these golden tones out of nowhere.
Just see it on the side. Oh, our logo's blocking it right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I can't get rid of it. Yeah, it's a new JD Vance. That is pretty funny. I kind of like, I don't know. I love the JD Vance memes. He doesn't look that weird, but they're able to make him look so weird in so many things. I love South Park, that he's the little guy from whatever island. What was it? Paradise Island? Love Island?
I can't remember.
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
The plane. Like, I love that he's that guy. And they use the meme face for him. It's perfect. Anyway, the real Donald J. Trump said, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They're not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. President DJT. He capitalized it, so I assume you got to say it that way. So it's got a couple of little fun bits in here. One, the Democrats are freaking out, especially all the commentators out there, about what? What are they freaking out about?
Project 2025.
Project 2025. Yep, that's it. It's the whole, like, this whole run for presidency. No one had heard of Project 2025, and then somebody found it. And I go look at who had it? The Heritage Foundation or somebody wrote it. It was a think tank. And believe it or not, Donald Trump, not a big reader of white papers from think tanks. I'm just giving everybody a minute to process that.
Surprise.
Yeah. And so they asked about it. He goes, I don't know what that is. And then later someone told him what it was. And he was like, I don't know. Some of it I don't like. Some of it I think is horrible. And some of it, I don't know. It has nothing to do with me, right? But the whole time they're just like, Project 2025. And so I guess this Russ Vought, I guess he probably came from Heritage. And so instead of just being like, I'm meeting with the director of the office of the OMB, whatever. So just saying that. And he goes, Russ Vought of Project 2025 fame. Just to be like, that's right. The guy that kind of wrote those sorts of things, I'm going to get his advice on what to do. Thanks, Democrats. But what does he talk about, though? He is, I think I already pulled what I wanted down this. I did. So basically what he's doing is they are going through, all right, so government shutdown, as we know, it's a disaster. Everybody's panicking. We're all basically dead and starving. and we don't have air or water because the federal government provides us with both. We have beer. That's the private sector, Charlie. But federal government provides air and water. Never mind. I was going to go into bathroom humor. So what he's doing is, okay, so really something like 17% or 13%, I forget which one, the government shuts down during these things. You know, it's almost nobody. They go, hey, TSA, you have to work without pay. Same with you air traffic controllers and the military. Everybody gets their back pay. You know, you get paid for it. That's just not today. It's whenever they resolve this. I find that to be somewhat abhorrent. You know, I think one of your obligations that you do need to pay for are the employee contractual obligations that you've made. And if they truly are not, if they don't matter enough that you don't need to pay them, they don't need to come to work. You know, if they have to come to work, you should be paying them, you know, if not, sit at home, you know? Anyway, so there's a lot of agencies that don't affect us like at all, that get shut down to a degree. And with this, it's even fewer because the big, beautiful bill funded some when they passed that. So there's stuff that normally would be cut off now that's not cut off because it's already funded. So it's even, maybe it's 5% or something. Which honestly, I'll take. But so basically what he's doing right now is he's talking to this Russ Vought guy. And they are looking at different programs and jobs that are now not happening because there's no funding for them. And looking to eliminate them because they're not ongoing. Right now, they're not funded. You can lay the people off. You can close the programs down. You know, Trump's saying we'll find out which ones are permanent, which ones are temporary. I think that has to do with consulting legal. Find out what's going to get challenged, what's going to get overturned. Because out of every company in the world where an executive can fire people in the country of the United States, our executive, I guess, can't fire people. But they're going to look to see what, basically, if they can downsize thousands of jobs, undo lots of programs, and then the only way these jobs come back or these programs come back is Congress has to specifically vote them back into existence. You can't just go, there's money now. You go, well, now we would need money for this program. And it's not that big of a hurdle, especially with all these omnibuses they pass. So they go, it's $2 trillion, $4 trillion, just pass it. You go, what's in it? They go, everything. You go, oh, okay. And so, like, I mean, opening these things up will be as simple as just any run-of-the-mill vote, unfortunately. Because things do not function the way they should, which is the way like Thomas Massey tries to make them function, where it's like, here's a bill that's about one topic, that's one page. Let's have a vote. And people go, we're not going to vote on that. That's stupid. How am I going to fundraise based on letting people know my thoughts on policy? People know my thoughts on individual policy. Someone might disagree with it. If I can pass something and say I like this part of it and I hate this part of it, I get to have my cake and eat it too. And all it does is bankrupt the country. Not my problem. I'm in the market.
Yeah.
I'm helping Charlie get rich.
Thank you, Congress.
Yeah. What's the name of that?
Autopilot.
Autopilot. Yeah. Pelosi? You do Eye Patch Boy too?
Yes. Yeah, I have 4. I have those 2, and then I have, Dan Crenshaw, Pelosi, Schultz. Is it Debbie?
Oh, yeah, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
She was the leader last year.
No joke.
And then, I can't remember the other one. I can't remember. Yeah, but I'm using 4.
There used to be a guy out of, I want to say Iowa, maybe. It was just this, I think he was a representative, you know, so not senator where you're 1 out of 100, but 1 out of whatever, 435 or something. Or is that all of Congress? Anyway, and he was just this dude that like kind of voted Republican, whatever. Like he never did a floor speech. He never rocked the boat. He showed up every day. But what he did is he studied the markets like crazy. He looked at every bill that was ever coming up for a vote ever, and he like took that, looked at the markets, and he just ran his portfolio. It was somewhat less corrupt than like, and he never made the kind of gains that like Pelosi and Crenshaw and these guys make, where they, you know, they get on the good committees and they, you know, they pipple that gumbo. But he did make himself. He was basically, and people go for him for advice. Like people are like, hey man, like what do you think we should, like other Congress people, you know, who weren't in the Crenshaw, Pelosi, Wasserman, Schultz. She looks, well, I mean, she looks like someone tried to use Play-Doh on top of an actual skeleton to build a face, and they left it in the car for a little. She has an odd look, is what I'm saying. It's an off-putting look. And I'm surprised that she wins still. I mean, she's been a DNC mouthpiece for a long time, but she's just so, like, her voice, everything's unpleasant about her. I don't know how she does it. Some of these people overcome a lot, and with like just repeatedly. Oh, what's the guy? Randy Fine, I think he got put into the House after Trump pulled somebody into his cabinet or something. Oh, Matt Gaetz, I think he took Matt Gaetz' spot. And Randy Fine is this idiot. Like he's an obnoxious, fat bully with not a lot of knowledge, and he just stays elected. And you go, how do you win people over? Like he, you know, I've never seen a ranch dressing stain on his belly button of his shirt, but I am willing to bet, I don't know, I think there's a solid 40% chance at any point in the day that he's got ranch dressing on his belly button of his shirt. You know, maybe it's the undershirt. Maybe he unbuttons for a nice snack, dip a turkey leg into the Hidden Valley and chomp it down.
That's terrible.
Sometimes you just wrap the spaghetti noodles around the turkey leg, put it in the vat of ranch. Now I vote on law. This podcast has devolved horribly.
It's all because of the shutdown.
It's the government shutdown.
There it is. There we go.
We used to have government watchers that stopped this from happening. People don't know this, but we've had our own FCC stooge that would just sit over there in the corner, Carl. And Carl just made sure everything kept going. We started getting a little insulting, like Charlie did about certain people's wives. And next thing you know, they go, they wave the finger, and we go, hey, let's just talk about the news, shall we? That's why the government's so important. All right, what the hell are we even talking about? So anyway, we'll see. Trump's going to meet with Vought and shut some stuff down, hopefully. And hopefully it stays shut down. I know they canceled a bunch of Green New Deal funding things that are kind of paused. And they go, hey, we can just cancel it now, which was billions of dollars. Not down like hundreds of billions, but I think so far between that and, oh, my flashlight's still on from our bit earlier. But between that and there's like a rail project in New York and some other project somewhere else. So they've canceled like tens of billions of dollars, which is fine, but kind of, you know, in the same vein of what like Doge was trying to accomplish. Like if we're not, I mean, we need to get up to $500 billion before we're even taking bites that are substantial, you know, because $500 billion at a time, suddenly we can get somewhere. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will take some cuts versus no cuts, but Doge was like, hey, look at all these cuts. Republicans like, I don't know. They're all right. So, oh, okay. Just confirming we don't have a small government party. It's what I already thought, but just confirming we don't have a small government party. Good. This is totally off topic. But one of the things that Trump just introduced, speaking of no small government party, is that he renegotiated. Basically, he set up the United States to have purchasing powers, best nation pricing for pharmaceuticals. In the past, European Union and some of these other people have been buying pharmaceuticals at a price cheaper than the United States. United States just open checkbook, whatever you want to charge us, we buy it. This is for the federal health insurance crap, I guess welfare, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and I guess we just used to pay whatever. And so big announcement. We're getting most favorable. So basically, the best price they offer to any country or company or anything, that's the price that the United States is going to get. Good, fine, whatever. He is opening up TrumpRx.com so that citizens can buy their pharmaceuticals directly from the government to get the best pricing.
Cool.
Yeah. Seizing means of, not really means of production, and that he's still retailing, I guess, but it's a means of distribution and acquisition, if not production. So it's somewhat communistic. So that's cool. I mean, if you're Walgreens or CVS or an independent one, heaven forbid, I'm sure you look forward to being able to compete with the purchasing and distribution power of the United States government. Also, to do this, you have to hire a whole department on this. Like, I mean, at least a warehouse crew. You have to have a warehouse. Maybe they already have a warehouse to store it because they're buying it. Who knows? I guess they probably do. When these people store, they send it out the door. But now you're going from like sending out chunks to states to distribute to what? You're going to just Amazon this stuff out the door? There's a lot of logistics. You can't just, it's not just, you just can't set up a national distribution network of retail goods just on a whim. Yes, Charlie. What?
There is an underground highway, though.
What?
Just saying.
What's the and I assume not by the Boring Company.
No. It's existed for quite some time. But yeah, you can travel underground. 18-wheelers. There's 2-lane road. You can travel from Colorado all the way across the United States and up to Maine without ever seeing daylight.
Is that like a thing the government has acknowledged?
Well, yes and no. It's definitely black budget, but yeah, it's built. It's done. They use it. They've used it. They store resources. And
is that like a DOD or DOW type thing? Or what I'm asking, is this something
like why they did it?
I guess if I Google it, can I see that it exists, or does it take like a Newsbusters type site?
Yeah, you can go. I mean, there's gates to get in, but if you time the gate right, you can drive in.
I don't mean to drive in, obviously. I just mean like, is there any sort of like non-conspiratorial website that will verify its existence?
Probably not.
Oh, okay. But I mean, might as well have an underground tunnel of highways. Still got to be able. I mean, UPS can't take that.
No, I don't. No.
So you still got to get your pills out the door to Marjorie over there. Like Marjorie needs her pills, And so even with the underground interstate network, there's a lot of pieces you need. Now I want to drive on that. I want to find. Do they have?
What's his face did it?
Mr. Beast.
No, one politician who was he a pro wrestler beforehand?
Oh, Jesse Ventura?
Yeah, he documented the whole thing.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Okay, I'll look that up. That's fun. Because when I was 16 or 15 or something, probably 15, 16, I was busy chasing girls. But I got a 2600 magazine, the Hackers Quarterly, and they had a whole map of, I think it was Disneyland, but their underground tunnel system and where all the doors were for it. I think someone just smuggled it out that like worked there and like quit or something. So you could see like, oh, look, behind this shrubbery and whatever land, you can get into the tunnel system. And it goes all these places. And I was like, that's so neat. I can't wait. Like, I want to break into the Disney tunnel system, But the thing that would be cooler than that is break into the tunnel system of the United States. Yeah, probably be. Yeah, I guess you don't go too far south with that one. You got to stay kind of north of Memphis even. Just the whole. Wait a second.
You can enter in. There's an entrance in the Ozarks. There's entrances in obviously D.C. I'm pretty sure the White House is connected to it. Maine, New York.
Does it cross the Mississippi? Or does it go up? Oh, it does?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have to. Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to, right?
Yeah.
That's the one like up and around, or
Yeah.
where does it cross the Mississippi?
I don't know.
Well, we're going on a riverboat, Charlie. I know someone that did that recently. They did a riverboat cruise. The whole thing was a bridge plane tournament. This woman was obsessed with bridge. She wrote a book on it. But it was like a riverboat up the Mississippi. I think from New Orleans. I think they went up from like New Orleans to.
I've heard good things about those.
You know, it's one of those things like growing up in Memphis and stuff, you see those boats go by, you go on a field trip on something where they just kind of do whatever. And so you just don't think about it much, but that would probably be pretty cool, especially like nice weather. Like you don't want to do the summertime for it, but late fall, maybe early fall before the rains come. Anyway, we're now on a riverboat cruise.
Because of the government.
This shutdown is just more than I can handle.
Our brains are just fried.
It's, I signed up for the digital ID through the federal government, which ended up being a chip they just inject in your eyeball.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I signed up for that, but I'm starting to think maybe it wasn't a good idea.
That's not you thinking. That's them thinking for you.
I think I was connected to something, and now a little static. Man,
that's a whole episode right there. Jesus.
Oh man, I think we'll have to, when we can start doing these more often than once a week. I think we should dedicate one day a week, and you get to just pilot the whole damn thing. Just all of your things. Maybe we'll wear tinfoil hats. Maybe we won't. Who knows?
We'll just be covered in tinfoil completely.
It's funny because you go, that's crazy talk. But the, what's it called when you have the cages where you can't get any...
Faraday?
Yeah, Faraday. Where it's like, that's silly. I have somewhere around half a dozen Faraday bags within arm's reach right now. And I go, well, that's normal. Why wouldn't you have a bunch of Faraday bags? That tin of oil thing, that's crazy. All right. What? Man, that's a lot to get into. Is it a lot to get? Okay. This is what we're getting into.
Oh, good.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. All right. So BB came in town.
You say it like he just drove in.
Yeah, he rolled up in his 6'4", pulled up in his hoopty, just because he rhymed to try to soup him. And so there was some announcements. The picture sure made it look like Donald Trump went like, "Baby, you need to apologize to Qatar." I got him on the phone. Sorry, Qatar. That was not a good BB. That was Richard Nixon. But so he apologized to Qatar. I'm sorry. I bombed your country. My bad. Which apparently the United States has struck some deal with Qatar. That's where Israel really hopefully can't be bombing them anymore. It seems like we said we promise they won't anymore.
Promising for someone else.
We promise we'll get mad at them if they do it, for whatever that means. Anyway, BB came in. They announced their 20-point peace plan. We might do that for a quick loaded grok afterwards. Important business. And so then BB goes to do some of the most important business of any business. Do you know about this clip, Charlie?
I did not listen to it.
Oh, good. So he met with social media influencers. Oh. Yes, Charlie, yes. Because, of course, narratives are important. You know this when you're former intelligence. And so I think I pulled the clip here where it cuts out the question. By the way, as far as like Christian conservative influencers, which this is mainly those sorts of influencers, there are some fly honeys. Like I found some people ratting out everybody that's in the room, and you go, well, I see how you got your following. You know, I mean, their ideas too, I'm sure. But you go, oh, okay. So one of these fly honeys was asking something about like, you know, it's very important for the evangelical community to always have the back of the Jewish community and Israel. Maybe just Israel. Maybe they don't care about the Jewish community. I don't know. Whatever. And, but, so the question was like how to maintain what was it? Like if the evangelicals don't get behind the whole Israel thing, like are we dependent on just Jewish influencers, or how do we go about doing it, or something like that? It's something basically, how can we serve you type thing. And anyway, here's BB. And BB's here to go, calm down, everybody. We don't need this. Israel's a peaceful nation, and we just want to get along with everybody.
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right. And you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation.
You open with a joke, Charlie.
That was so funny. I can hardly contain myself.
The thing that, I don't mean to pause so quick, but the thing that gets me about this, do you follow James Lindsay at all? Mm-mm. He was part of this group of researchers that made a bunch of fake papers a while ago to sort of play with wokeness or whatever before that was a term, you know. So they wrote just fake papers with fake research that had lots of good buzzwords, you know, that sounded hippy dippy kind of nonsense. It was, you know, things about I forget, like male feminism and blah blah. You know, they had these convoluted things, but they had like 2 or 3. They won an award for something. It was like it was like something about dog park assault culture, the way the dogs interact on the dog park, and how it is you know, SA tolerant or something. There's just crazy things, you know, but they just try to see what they could push through just using like this kind of language of the left and all that. You know, he got nominated for awards and all this stuff, and he became he's put a bunch of research into Marxism over anything else.
Oh, good.
Well, he's anti. And so he's so for a long time, you know, darling of the right, because he would say, well, if you look at like, I mean, he really has researched the hell out of like like Maoism and Marxism and all this kind of stuff.
He should interview Hillary Clinton.
I don't think he feels like dying, Charlie. I don't think he feels like hanging himself with an extension cable and then cutting himself down from the tree after he shoots himself with a shotgun and throws it across the field. But anyway, but recently, like post-Trump, maybe even before, I think even before Trump got elected, sometime within the last year, he's been going after the quote-unquote woke right. And he said there's people on the right that use the same speech of oppression. You know how like in the world of the woke, it was you're harming, it's aggression towards gay people. It's aggression towards women. Like this is actually an aggression towards these people. There's always a grievance, you know, it's a grievance type thing. And he said that there's people on the right that speak the same language of the sort of, I don't know, there's grievance language and there's better words for it. I'm just escaping my head right now because of the shutdown. And you okay. And I've heard him, it took me a while because I was like, what is he talking about? And he did write a big paper on it too, which I did not read, but I heard him, someone found him at a conference and I said, please explain woke right to me. And when he explains it, you go, all right, yeah, that's all. That makes sense. And it does. But then you see the people he calls woke right on the right, and you can kind of understand to a certain degree people like maybe Tucker Carlson. You know, he can be a little hyperbolic and whatnot. And there's a few people you go, okay, but then he just keeps going, and you start looking and you go, I don't know. It seems like I hear what you're saying, and what you're saying makes sense. But in practice, it seems like anybody that's critical of Israel's actions, and particularly the U.S.-Israeli involvement and distrustful of that partnership, that seems to be the real thing that makes you woke right in practice. Because it's the only thing I've seen in comic Dave Smith, right? He's a libertarian fella, and he's very critical of Israel. He's very well spoken on it. He's debated a lot of people. His thoughts are out there. Tucker Carlson, like I said, but yeah, I forget. He's called a lot of people this, but it really seems like Israel's the thing that holds it all together. The being critical of Israel is what knocks you in the woke right. So it's crazy to me that he starts off with a joke about the woke right, where he calls them the woke right, and but which is also kind of confirms my views in that you go, okay, because if the woke right is about grievance and this kind of language of the oppressed and all that kind of stuff, cool, that probably wouldn't make you a Nazi, probably. But if it's about being critical of Israel, and by being critical of Israel, you got to be critical of the Star of David, which is on their flag, and by that you got to be critical of all Jews, and suddenly you're a Nazi. And so I don't know if old Jimmy Lynn has gotten some sweet cash or what, but which is not a blood libel. I don't mean Jews control the world with money. I just mean he's an influencer on the damn internet, and people get paid, and then they have their opinions. Qatar did it. Russia did it. No one will give us money, Charlie. Yet. And then, totally for sale. Pro-Israel, pro-Russia, I don't care what. I think the black Israelites are correct. They're the Israelites. In Africa, or maybe in America. Whatever they believe. They got the money. I'm on board. All right, back to Bibi.
The woke right, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're loonies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster.
See, he says so.
Okay, we have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And second,
real quick, our influencers. I assume he means Israel, pro-Israel / Zionist, whatever. I assume that's what it means. So he's telling the evangelical and the Christian influencers, you should talk to our people.
Team up. And I have a feeling if Bibi put together a team of influencers, they are probably not to be trifled with.
secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged.
Like what?
And the most important ones are the social media.
Oh.
And the most important purchase that is going on right now is...
Say it, Charlie.
TikTok. Number one.
Number one.
And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. Exactly. Very good.
Cesspool, she says.
And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him.
Talk to Elon.
Give if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight. Okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpart? Yes.
Yes, my Jewish friend. What would you like to say?
Well, I mean, that's everybody. Everybody's not.
Everybody's either a Jewish or a non-Jewish friend?
Right. Like,
Yeah. Or enemy. TikTok. Do you know who's buying TikTok?
Yeah. Oracle.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison.
That's him. You know, one of the top, I don't know if you could call it a charity, but we'll call it a charity, whatever. You know, one of the top charities he donates to? I'll give you a clue. It's a 3-letter acronym. The first letter is I. IDF.
Oh, great.
Not the Nation of Israel. Not the Christian Jewish Coalition of Peace or something. The military of Israel.
Wait,
They're not a charity. I just lied about it.
I was going to say, I'm like, man, what am I missing?
You were sitting there like, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. How do we set up a nonprofit
Military.
Yeah. I mean, military should be nonprofit, but, you know, antiquated idea there. Yeah, but no, he's been known to donate directly to the IDF, directly helping fund their military, which, I mean, I guess what I don't even know how to do that, but I'm not a billionaire, you know? And so basically TikTok's about to be purchased by a guy who helps fund the IDF.
Great.
BB says it's important.
Of course it is.
And they have to get to Elon.
Yeah. And he said Elon's a friend, though. He wanted to clear it. He made that a point.
Well, yeah, I think he wanted to make sure people didn't go attacking him. And Elon is a friend of Israel. He is. He was being called anti-Semitic back when he first supported Trump, and he says I'm the opposite. I'm whatever pro-Semitic or he uses some word like philo-Semitic or something like that. I hope that didn't mean something weird because I don't actually know what philo means, but it was some sort of thing like that where instead of being pro-Semitic, I'm blah blah Semitic. Anyway, so I mean, I think that he is, and especially with the tech sector in Israel too. I'm sure Elon and what are you nodding at, Charlie?
The space company.
Oh yeah, rockets. Oh, the space laser. Well, can't shut that down. No governments can shut that down. But yeah, so how creepy is it? I can't believe that he let this be recorded.
Yeah.
You would think this would be a shadows type of thing. But it's, I think all these evangelical influencers or Christian influencers, whatever they are, I think they're so excited. There is 2 flavors of Christendom that I am noticing that are pretty heavy. And there's probably more than just these 2, but these 2 seem to be vocal. There are the Israel worshiping sort of like, well, the Old Testament is chapter 1 and like it's, starring the Jewish people and therefore like, we have like at all costs defend Israel and we love them and all this kind of stuff. And then there's another chunk. That's they killed our Lord and we have to oppose them at all chunks and at all costs. And they're also pretty loud. I just feel like they don't necessarily have to be in one of those camps. But I think these influencers are in the you must worship all that is Israel because of the Old Testament, because Jesus, because of Old Testament.
I mean, Christianity derived from. Yeah, like
it's chapter 2,
right? Yeah, so I can understand that, but I fall off that train with defend a bordered land at all costs. That's odd to me.
There's a number of things odd about it, especially, and they the misquoting the verse about God blessing the people of Israel and cursing the enemies and all that kind of stuff. It was very specific about I forget who he was talking to, but God told him to build a church or a synagogue or whatever. But build a church, build a temple. That's what he said. Build a temple, and build a temple, and like people come, and the people that follow you there, they will be blessed, and the people that are like, hey, f you, like screw that. But it was a very specific. It wasn't Israel. It wasn't contemporary Israel. It is one location for one temple, for one man to start a flock. Which is kind of how they did it in the Old Testament. They go, listen, buddy, I'm going to make you live 1,000 years, and I'm going to give you about 30 wives along the way. You need to get in the sack. We need more Jews.
And that continues on today.
Well,
I mean, that is their shtick.
Oh, having lots of kids?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant living forever.
No, for survival. That's
yeah.
The Jewish community is very just as hard as like the
Catholics and Mormons.
Same idea.
Yeah. Catholics and Mormons.
Muslims, same thing.
Yep. Catholics, Mormons, Muslims. Yeah. The Jews, not so much Protestants anymore. They are dying off. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's how it was in the early days. They're just like, look, I'm focusing pretty much on you and your lineage. It's going to take some time, But I don't know. So this guy comes in town and he meets with all these popular, I guess, American influencers to talk about how to be the most pro-Israel, to counter the woke right, which is basically anti-Israel people, and how important TikTok is in the battlefield. There's missiles, there's drones, there's TikTok. Missiles and drones and TikTok. These are like the same. It's a continuation of a theme. It sounds different to us, but he's talking about it as a weapon.
I think what we're seeing, and I think why we're seeing it, is because we're seeing Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu, a weakness. I think he's coming out. I think the gloves are off. I think he might be a cat falling off a table where he feels like it's about to start and he's trying to nip it. Cat nip.
No, I mean, you might be right. It might be, it's one of those things. You just can never count that guy out. Like he's too savvy and he's too, never underestimate that man. But it does it. When Trump came out and he was like, they will not annex the West Bank. They go, have you talked to Benjamin Netanyahu? And he goes, it doesn't matter. He's like, I have talked to him, but it doesn't matter if I have. They're not going to be doing this. Has to stop. And they come up with this peace plan and all this stuff. And he's been, for what that matters. But this has been one of the worst in terms of support for just Jewish people, but especially the state of Israel. This thing that they've been doing with Gaza post October 7th has been the worst possible thing for support of them.
You called it too. You knew it was coming.
It was one of those things like in the past it had always been just missiles lobbing. We hit them out, we hit them back. Oh, we did this. Oh, we're going to go and fight you. October 7th was brutal. And that's the thing. You're critical of Israel, they go, oh, yeah, you don't even care about what happened on October 7th. Like that was okay. It's like, no. Like, first of all, a couple of years ago, and it was horrible. It was horrible. And that was the thing. It was so horrible that, you look at it, and like we said, you're sitting there going, like, I don't know how this does not result in ethnic cleansing of one side or the other. Whoever's stronger.
Bibi knew that too.
Yeah, and I think Bibi knows his window. He's got his window. So I think we'll see what happens. But I don't think Bibi's done. But I do think that he is feeling the influence slipping, thus the influencers. And so, his influence is slipping as he's, got active warrants. He had his UN speech where everyone walked out on him. And he still made jokes about the pagers blowing up on people. Yeah. probably shouldn't do it. I mean, you caught some strays. You didn't get 100% of the injuries were not on target. Just put it that way. Like maybe don't joke about it at the United Nations. But yeah, so I think he is trying to claw back that influence. He says TikTok's a weapon, an important weapon. We talked about Charlie Kirk. His big thing was the kids. And the kids right now are not big supporters of Israel. And so TikTok probably is hugely important. And so when you have somebody that basically funds the IDF now funding TikTok, it's, and as BB calls it, a weapon. It's their weapon now. All right. I think we'll wrap up on that for today. Make sure you follow us on the YouTubes, on the Rumbles, on the Spotifys, on anything else. But, like, subscribe, hit the things so you get the alerts. Tell your friends. All this stuff helps. Watch out for our clips. We're putting clips out there now because I figured out how to do it because I'm pretty fancy. And the Loaded Grok segments. What do you got for the people?
The Grok factoid of the day. Mahatma Gandhi, the leader of India's independence movement and advocate for non-violent resistance,
never worked,
was born on October 2nd, 1869.
I actually saw it was his birthday today. Happy birthday, Gandhi! Even though Winston Churchill didn't like you, we're all fans.